Right, giving it a bit of a clean up on the plastic and things. It really is in very nice condition. There's a few sort of like scratches on the dial. I can sort that out if I can once I've got the radio working. The knobs are all in good condition. It hasn't been stored in a damp area or anything. Yeah, as I say, the scratching on the top is very fine and really isn't a problem at all. So say the grill, as you can see in the light there, there's no dents at all. It's a well looked after radio, and you should sort of expect that with a Hacker radio, because I mean a person who would have bought this, certainly when they first bought it, they would have spent quite a lot of money on a radio like this. It wasn't going to be like a cheap Chinese or Hong Kong radio at the time, where they were sort of £5 or £6. This probably would have cost £20-25, this radio, even though it's sort of like a fairly entry level radio. So I think the thing to do is we're going to try and power it up, and we'll see what it does. So I'm going to connect it up to my external power supply. I think that's the easiest thing to do, and then we'll see what we get. So let's connect this up to an external 9-volt supply. Bear in mind that these power supplies, these radios are 9 volts. These two battery connections are actually in parallel as opposed to normally in series. So you can actually run this on one battery if you want. Obviously you get approximately half the life of the radio. So we'll connect this up. You always have to remember, and it sometimes catches me out, obviously on a battery, this is a flat battery by the way, that's the positive, the round terminal, so that means that the round terminal on the reciprocating end of the radio will be negative, so that's the negative connection. And obviously you can check that with the wire going to it, but sometimes a Hacker uses a yellow and a different colour wire, yellow and what is it, I think the yellow and blue or something. So anyway, we're going to connect this back up. So we're connected to a power supply that's current limited to about 400 milliamps. And let's see if we get any signs of life. Let's turn it on. Oh, boo, it works.
We're deep in the bowels. Even horses put a jumper on.
Yeah.
Because even a horse gets cold in his own.
Frankie Waff and Robinson with high.
Well, that's a bit of a disappointment. They clearly specified it wasn't working, and it works fine. Well, that's good, isn't it, really? I mean, it's going to make a very dull video, but there's nothing wrong with this radio. The pots aren't scratchy. The scale calibration seems pretty good. I did notice that Kiss FM was coming in, well, I think that was Kiss FM, was coming in a bit early. That might have been Radio 1. It was coming in about 99 megahertz, but that might have been actually Radio 1, which is 98.8 here. So if that's the case, scale calibration spot on as well. I always thought these would sound a little bit sort of like unexciting, but it's got a lovely sound to it. It's got a real deep bass to it. I mean, I've got the back off it at the moment, but it sounds great. So let's do a quick scale calibration check on it. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not going to get in there with my screwdrivers if there's nothing wrong with it. It certainly looks like it's pretty well calibrated. So I'm just going to connect the signal generator up. And we're just going to loosely couple in. So we'll start at 90 megahertz. Let me zoom in a bit so you can see a bit clearer what the scale's doing. So okay, you see the needle moving around to 90 megahertz. I'll try and get that as best as I can. That's 90 megahertz there. Okay, so I'm just setting the signal generator 90 megahertz. RF level of 100 millivolts into a loop aerial, a floppy a rubber duck thing. We're in, spot on. Let me just put a FM carrier on here. 75 kilohertz. That's spot on. Let's go to 96 megahertz. Carrier frequency 96. That's spot on. Let's try it at 100 megahertz. absolutely perfect alignment. Oh, that's going to be that's a shame, really. I mean, it's not a shame, but it's. I was hoping to get in there with my screwdrivers and start tinkering around, but I'm loath to do that because the radio works so well. So that's the Hacker Harrier RP71. Bought on eBay for very little money. I think I just got there at the right time. Lovely sounding radio. So basically all it takes for me now is to just clean it up a bit. I'm not going to even bother recapping it if it works so well. And these Philips capacitors tend to be pretty good anyway. This is the Alchemos and all the Hunts capacitors, which are awful. But these Philips capacitors, if they're in a cool environment, which they will be in a transistor, battery operated transistor radio, they'll be fine. It's only you tend to find they fail when they're next to transformers and things that get hot. Clearly this radio works really very well, and I'm very pleased with it. And oh, I've spotted this. This is loop aerial here. That's not connected, and that is the connection to the FM aerial. So that shows how well that's obviously just capacitively coupled, that wire, to the antenna, and it's still picking up really well. So we'll reconnect that up, and then we'll give it another go, see what it sounds like. But it looks like possibly this radio has been apart and someone's forgotten to reconnect that wire up. So I'll do that off camera, and we'll have another listen to it once it's all got the back on it, and I'll clean the back up a bit. There's a bit of muck on the back. See how it sounds after that. Right, whilst I've got the handles off, because I had to reconnect the screw back for the aerial, I'm just trying to get rid of this sort of like slight. There's a slight pitting on the chrome, just sort of like, it's not like it's been in the damp, it's just that they do that with age. It's sort of like corrosion from the atmosphere and things. It's not bad, but you can see it's very slight. So what I tend to do, I start with, is a very mild cleaning method. I tend to use this resin polish by Autogleam. It's very mild. It's like it's not abrasive, but it's a very good polish, and I'm going to start with that. I'm just going to try and remove the sort of like the if there is any oxidation or any sort of like crud on the build-up, we'll just try and remove that. So we just start with that. Start with the gentle stuff first and work the other way. A lot of people start with the abrasive stuff first and work the other way to, you know, into the fine stuff. But if you can remove this sort of corrosion with just a fine polish, that's what all you want to do, really. So let's give that a rub over, and I think you can see there it's gleaming now. Let's get it in the light so you can see how it reflects. You see how bright and shiny that is? So that's good. Just do the other end as well. I highly recommend this stuff. I'm obviously not sponsored by anyone, as you well know. This is stuff I use on my motorbikes for cleaning up the plastic, but it seems to be brilliant for everything. So let's do the other side as well. This one's a bit dull. Now there is a bit of pitting there, and it obviously has had some sort of dampness got to it, but it's very mild. It's just slightly bubbled the chrome, but it's as you see, get it in the light, you can see it's pretty good condition. You can see the slight pitting there, but it's in pretty nice nick. The aluminium handle, a bit gunky from sort of like a bit of toe jam on the bottom of the handle, but generally in pretty good condition. The inside of the handle is the same, a bit dull. Just going to give that a clean with the same procedure, just a bit of polish. You can see that it's out of frame, and you can actually feel it as you're rubbing it. You can feel the sort of like the stuff coming off. So it's cleaning up pretty well, actually. And as I say, there's a little bit of pitting on that one as well, but it's in pretty nice condition. So basically, what I always do, I never start with anything aggressive. Obviously, if it had a big scratch across the perspex, like a big deep gouge, then you have to sort of go a bit aggressive. You have to try and use something like what I tend to try and start off with is something like a basic T-cut, you know, the T-cut for car cutting, and try and remove the scratch with that. Basically, you're not removing the scratch, you're just cutting the layer of the plastic back. and then progressively work to a finer T-cut. You can go back to the metallic T-cut, which is designed for metallic paint cars, which is finer, and then you can go to Mur, which is something I always use, and then you go back to a very fine plastic polish, and you just work it lighter and lighter and lighter, and you can actually get really good results. If you've got the patience, you can actually get a really good result of these. And you can see there, if I can reflect it in the light, it's a bit hard to work out where the light is, but it really is in a pretty good condition, apart from some very, very slight scratching. So let's clean the handle up, and then we'll get it back together and see what it looks like.
An SS gun.
Okay, that's the final result.
And getting rid of Jews
Very pleased with it,
and all the
actually.
other
As I say, it's in
opponents.
very nice condition. Very few scratches on it. It's even difficult for you. You can probably just see it there where the reflection of the fluorescent lamp is. You see some very minor scratches on the front panel. One thing that is a little bit odd is the volume control and tone control
Yet it seems
idents
two
are in the
sides
wrong
of
place. So the
government
minimum
work
treble
hand in hand.
or minimum tone is actually in about sort of the 1030 position, as is the volume. So there's something strange there. I don't know what's happened there. I don't know if someone's replaced the pots at some time, or the outer of the aluminium's come separated from the inner plastic part of the pot, and they've just glued it on the wrong place. Not the end of the world. We can sort that out. You can see that centre screw there, which is a Phillips or Posi drive screw. I'd like to replace that with a stainless steel one because that's gone a bit dull. And same on the other end here. That's in a similar condition. Yeah, so they're not rusty, but they just got verdigris on them, sort of like dulled with age. And you can see the grill's in perfect condition here. The side cheeks are in nice condition. As you saw me cleaning the handle up, that's cleaned up nicely. The back's in good condition. There's a bit of wear mark around here. I might actually try and maybe put a felt tip mark in here to bring that back to black again. That looks a bit odd with that where the DIN plug is for recording. It's all like, looks like someone's been pushing a large DIN socket that's rubbed on the outside of the chassis and has sort of like taken the black off. Yeah, the end cheeks are in good condition. The internals look in good condition. Not sure about the finials on here, but very pleased. It'd be nice if the radio didn't work, I suppose, but a lot of people would say, well, it's nice the radio does work. Reception quality seems
Over
very
the
good.
following months, notorious camps were constructed.
The aerial's not
on
up,
his
but it's still
territory
recording
by the
really
Nazis
quite
under
nicely.
his
So
orders. Belzec,
sounds nice.
Sobibor,
Typical sort of hacker warm sound to it. But yeah, nice little radio. Never had the Harrier or the later models really. The only one I had was the what was it? The RP70. Can't think of the name of the radio at the moment. But that was a similar sort of era. Long wave, medium wave only. My grandmother used to have one of those. I've got one of those, and it's built down to a price. It's not as good as the early Hackers, but this, I must admit, the sound quality is very good. But it is starting to show the sort of cutbacks that Hacker were making to try and save money. I'll do a quick show inside so you can see the inside of the units. Let me just pause the video and I'll show you the insides of what's exactly going on, a bit of a closer up view. Okay, that's the inside of the radio.
Spend a few days with us here.
And that's
A night,
the
at least.
label
It's
marking
so
the
incredibly beautiful here. But I'm afraid
Hacker
I'm having
radio,
too much happiness and have no idea why I deserve.
Norley Drive, Cox
The only
Green,
thing is that we
Maidenhead.
all miss you so very much,
yep,
and it
that's
would be
the
pure bliss
original
if you also
label
had a
in
bit
there,
of time for us.
and the warning saying
of
which
all,
battery to replace it
It's
with.
for the home crew I'm so keen to have.
And that's the speaker. I don't know what speaker manufacturer that is. Not sure. But
This one is dated
I don't
2
think
months
it's
later,
a Goodman's, and I don't
13th,
think it's an Elac, which they often used, and it certainly doesn't look like a Celestian. And then we got the insides here. Let me just get you some more light so you can see. Bear with me. Inside here, so we got the power amplifier here, or the IF amplifier here, and the amplifier section here. Still using germanium output stages, and the RF amplifier section here, which is pretty common, and then the aero. That's the connection we remade, so we've got a decent aero connection. Okay, I think that really sums up this lovely Hacker. I'm very pleased with it. Thanks for watching, and more to come.